I think it's a tough gig actually. Having been in that role myself, I think it's a tough gig because you've got all sorts of things and all sorts of boxes you've got to tick. For instance, you can't just spend money because when you have to not do something to do something, if that makes any sense, because there's no new money, particularly with the way the economies are right now. So you have to figure out how you spend that money. And I think you're right. I think for a while there was a lot of coasting. And there was a sense that, there's a lot of work that was done around 15, 20 years ago, which talked about having people, Asian, particularly Asian audiences, but ethnic minority audiences being early adopters, being quite young, wanting to see themselves in things like, Top Gear and relating more to that than the kind of programs that, me and you may have made or watched, etc. And I think there was an element of truth in that, but it became a mantra for many people. And I think also a way out of not doing shows which they felt, oh, there wasn't a big audience for. But actually, they're probably killed for those audiences right now compared to what the ratings we're getting. And I think what the conversations I had with this, I think it's almost like you're starting again. We've got to accept that things have not been great, and you're starting again. And what I would say was actually that it was quite a receptive conversation. And I think it was a receptive conversation because for a number of reasons. One is because a new idea always excites people. There's no getting around that. Two, an understanding that maybe we're not doing enough, because a lot of the research, a lot of the feedback people get within the industry it's what you do with it, how you tell that tale. And I think they realize we're probably not doing enough. And the final thing was obviously, it's all about timing as well. You could have this conversation 2 or 3 years ago and it probably wouldn't get over the line. But you have the conversation based on the data from the ethnic from the census, etc. And you go into demographics and you talk about communities and you've got things like Bradford City of Culture happening right now and it ticking all the boxes about the people who don't relate to public service broadcasting or the further you get away from the southeast of England or whatever, all those kind of things. And you have a moment. And that moment is it's 6.5% of the population of a Muslim background. A lot, 50% of those are living outside of London in those areas which you struggle with. In places like Bradford, there are it's one of the youngest demographics in the country, etc., etc. We have such poor religious literacy that anybody can say what they want, and we definitely see post the riots last summer, the whole issue, the far right kind of things that were going on, and post Southport kind of killing kind of conversations. It was clear the lack of knowledge that people had. Throw all of that into the mix. It's all about timing. The art of the deal, as it were, is not just to get you can have a deal when you want, right? The art of the deal, you understand where I'm coming. I've been cheeky, but the art of the deal is knowing when to make the deal, and the timing was perfect.